Hey everybody, it is Kendéll Lenice and welcome to Kendéll Lenice Live. We are back. Who is back? The doctors panel is back. You all loved that panel. You loved the ladies, the doctors on the panel. And before it was over, the last one, you were like, you got to do a part 2. And when it comes to health and our bodies, there's so much that we can talk about. Like we can't get through them in a couple of shows. It's just really to help you all any way that I can, because this channel is about education, elevation, and entertainment. It's about changing the narratives when it comes to us, Black folks in our communities. And I want everybody to be healthy. I want everybody to be strong, disease-free, live freely, and just to be the best versions of themselves. And you can't do that without good health. So let's start. Kendéll Lenice Live starts right now. We are live. We are live. I'm going to start this off with Dr. Sonza Curtis. She is a naturopathic doctor, a physician's assistant, certified functional medicine provider, founder and owner of 3D Wellness.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be
back. Hey, Dr. Sonza.
Hi, glad to be back.
I'm glad you're here. And we've been trying because I want to, have a consultation with you. So we were talking about that, but we're still going to do that. I think I talked about that on the last show, but it's so important to me. And I'm honored that you're here. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for
once again. All right. I have Dr. Naima Olotonji. She is a doctor of chiropractic, founder of Elevate Family Chiropractic, certified in pregnancy and pediatric care.
Hello. So great to be back with you ladies tonight.
I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back. I wanted to go last time we didn't get a chance to go into what you were talking about when it came to COVID. If I'm mistaken, we talked about how chiropractic health can help and affect everything. And people just think it's about cracking necks and back. That's what they hear. So I want to talk more about that when I bring the other ladies on. You cool with that?
Fantastic. Let's go.
All right. Dr. Serena Satcher. She is board certified internal medicine, rehab medicine, and sports medicine, certified functional medicine provider, founder of owner Treat Yourself to Health. Dr. Serena.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great.
I got that name right.
You did.
I was like, I'm going to make sure. All right. My girl, Dr. Maia Walton. She's a board certified pediatrician, functional medicine provider, and Medical Academy of Pediatric Special Needs, MAPS provider, co-founder of the M Center for Pediatric Wellness. Yeah. Welcome.
Hi.
How are you?
Well, good to see everybody again.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We're going to talk about the babies and everything, when it comes to health. We talked a little bit about it last week when I shared some of the working in an elementary school on a regular basis and some of the things that I see. So we're going to get into that a little bit more. Are you good with that today?
Absolutely.
All right. Next, I have Dr. Monica Beckham, board certified natural wellness practitioner, a functional medicine and certified health coach, and the co-founder of the M Center for Pediatric Wellness. Dr. Monica.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. Happy to see you guys again.
I'm happy to see you. We are all happy to see each other. And I'm just so happy that you all are here and the audience is here as well. They're already in here. So if you want to take a moment, you can share this with your people if you need to. We can just give that a moment to let them know we are back. All right. Thank you. Come on in the room. Thank you so much. All right. So I just wanted to get some feedback from you guys, from you ladies, before we get started. What did you think about the last show, and what was some of your feedback? Because people loved each and every one of you, and I don't want to leave out OBGYN doctor Chandra, but you said is she working right now?
She's still seeing patients. Yes.
Okay. So I want to acknowledge her because she was a part of this as well. But what did you ladies think about the last time you were on and the things that you talked about?
I think the most exciting thing is that we're doing it, that we're having the conversation, that we're here to represent not only people who we see in our practice, but also just women in general, I think have been underserved for so long. And because there is such a huge disparity in healthcare as it applies to women of color, I'm just excited that we're having these conversations and inviting other people to join us.
I agree. I totally agree with that. And our health matters, right? Our health is important, not just to us, but our families, and then in turn, the community. So, especially with Black women, we try to take care of everyone, but we always seem to forget about us.
Yeah.
So we talked a little about this before, about just seeing patients that look like you and seeing doctors that look like you. And I know Dr. Maia touched on this a lot about how soothing that is and how comforting that is. What were some of your feedback that you received, or what did you think about the show, Dr. Maia?
Well, first of all, I really enjoyed that we had representation through the whole spectrum of life, pregnancy, birth, and everywhere in between. And so that was nice, and it was refreshing to see again people that look like us, and people an opportunity to be heard and to ask their questions and to know they're not crazy when they go to other doctors and they don't feel seen or heard.
Yeah. And that is so important, because we know that we're underserved, and we know that when it comes to disease, food deserts, everything that affects our health, we know that we're typically number one on the list when we talk about diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, and all of that. So I really want to help us in those areas. So I definitely want to touch on that as well. What about you, Dr. Monica?
I mean, to add, I guess I agree with what everyone else has said. It's nice having everybody on the spectrum of the age ranges. And such nice. Do you hear feedback?
That was me. I'm sorry.
Okay. Touching on everyone throughout the spectrum. A lot of the feedback I received was wishing that we'd had more time and didn't have to wrap things up. That's kind of what people told me most. So it's clear that people really enjoy the conversation, want to have more of the conversation. Having women of color talking about issues of people of color in the medical community is clearly a needed dialogue.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's get right into it. I appreciate you all, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. So we are going to stick to an hour today, people. So get your questions in, because with these doctors, time is money. And they're taking, and I don't take it lightly that you take a moment out. This is what you do as a career, as a profession, as a passion. And I know that you're busy all day. So coming to do this in the evening, I know that that's not a small task. So I want to publicly say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. I know we talked a little bit about this before, but I want to go through, when it comes to Black patients, whether they're elderly or children or in the process, I know Dr. Chandra is not here, but what are some of the most common threads that you see with us when we walk into your office? And anyone can go first.
High stress. Extremely high stress. And I think that we don't place enough attention on what stress does to the body. I know that for us, just talking with Dr. Sonza and Dr. Monica, having conversations about the stress that we undergo, what we see in our patients, and the high level that they walk in. Like if we know that we're under stress and we have more information and been privileged enough to do the studies and take on the student loans, that if we're feeling it, then our patients are feeling it even more so. And I think that that's the biggest factor that we don't spend enough time talking about.
And you're absolutely right. And it does affect our health, and certain things that we do as a people is stressful in itself without even thinking about it, without adding compounding elements to life, to the situation. And I really want, people always talk about stress kills, but it really does. I think some people say it lightly, because even with me, with stress, I have really learned and is still learning to not allow stress to enter my space, because there are a lot of stressful events, and it does raise your blood pressure. It causes so many other, and I want you as a doctor to talk about what are some of the things you're seeing with the stress. What is that parlaying into when it comes to their health?
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, yeah, I was asking you. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, so Dr. Satcher.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just doing an Instagram live on this topic, so talking about stress. But probably, I mean, Dr. Sonza and I have these conversations about, that our bodies can adapt to stress, and our bodies are made to deal with stress. And there are different types of stressors. I'm not going to go into all the different types of stressors, but most people are talking about the emotional stress when they talk about stress, not realizing that there's a physiological, there's a body chemical neurotransmitter hormone result from stress. And when I say adaptive, like we're supposed to be able to run away from a bear. We're supposed to be able to, like if somebody's coming to hit us in a car, to be able to turn quickly, to avoid getting hit. And you feel this rush of adrenaline, and the normal response is that, an hour or so after that, your body should go back to normal. But if you have a maladaptive, or your body has become adapted in a negative way to stress, and when you have that stressor, that chemical effect may last for days, weeks. You may not be able to sleep. So this is not the type of response we want to see.
Yeah.
And this, because of our history of generational stress, of slavery or being enslaved, of being mistreated for 400 years, and it's still ongoing.
Yeah.
So we can have a lot of maladaptive stress, like the hypertension. We can have diabetes.
Yeah.
There's a lot that we can see, and a lot of us are in denial about the result or about the exposure to the stress.
Yeah.
And can I say something? A lot of us are in denial about stress altogether. We walk around, we got the big S on our chest. We think we can go to work, we can do the things to be the mom, be the entrepreneur, all of that, and it walk away, and we can just brush it off. That's what we've been taught to even from slavery, when we watch our men being taken away, our kids taken away. So we've adapted to the mindset that it's not stress. A lot of times when patients come to the office, I have to tell them, like, sweetheart, that S on your chest is not for Superwoman. Okay, that's for stress.
I like that.
A lot of stress. And when you begin to point it out to them, they're like, wow, I never looked at it that way.
Yeah.
No wonder you're having the high blood pressure, because high blood pressure is just an in reaction to endothelium with the vessels dysfunction. So with that, with the fight or flight, what happens? The blood vessels, they clamp down. right? So that's what happens. And then you have, if you're trying to push blood through this smaller tube, the pressure is going to build up somewhere, right? So that's really what happens. And then the blood sugar, you have the cortisol goes up. When the cortisol goes up, your insulin goes up. Your insulin stays up for long periods of time. Guess what? That's diabetes. Alzheimer's, diabetes type 2. So stress, you bring up a very good point where stress is ignored and we adapt to it and we think we got it all together. You know, we have to walk around and put on the face. You know, as Black women, you know, we can't share. You know, we do this. That's what they expect us to do.
Yeah.
To hold it together and be that one piece and, you know, and not show. We have to put our poker face on when we go out in public.
Yeah.
And
Dr. Sonza, that's right.
Stress is probably the greatest thing. I think it just internalizing the stress, what we don't realize on a very deeper cellular level is that we're internalizing, and then we normalize all of the things. When Dr. Sonza points out to one of her patients, like, and then they realize, like, oh, well, that's just normal.
Yeah.
No, that's common. That's not normal. And certainly it isn't a way that your body then can actually heal, right? Because healing comes from a parasympathetic nervous system. It is not the sympathetic, and we're constantly stuck in that fight or flight, and our responses become learned, and then they become behaviors, and then become personalities, and before you know it, years and years have gone by, and we just believe it to be our normal. And what a beautiful thing to have this conversation, just to point that out, that you've got to take a look at how that your body is absorbing the emotions.
Isn't that something? I mean, you three, I'm telling you, we could stop right here. We really could, because stress.
I have a question though.
Go ahead.
How does it affect the kids?
I was like, I actually wanted to chime in and add a different perspective in terms of what we see.
I just hope people are paying attention, because I wanted you to really catch what they said, especially what Dr. Monica just said. You keep going. Every lady said that. You keep going, and you don't realize that your body is in distress. You don't realize it because it becomes a way of life, and it's embedded in your personality, as she said. And it's so interesting because you might not be able to feel it because this is you on go, but your body does keep that score, and your body is reacting. And Dr. Sonza, what you said about explaining, I'm glad that you explained it that way, talking about the blood vessels and how they tighten and how the blood can't go through because we're always in fight or flight. And Dr. Maia, Dr. Naeem, excuse me, I want you to talk, but Dr. Sonza, can somebody correct that? Can they lower their blood pressure? Can they possibly stop taking insulin? And then Dr. Naima, please definitely say what you want.
Yes, you just take the time out and you de-stress. First of all, the first thing of any problem, you got to recognize it is a problem. Okay. And so if you don't think that you have a problem, you're going to continue to keep doing down the same thing. And that's the definition of ignorance, insanity when you're expecting something different. But there's yoga, there's qigong, there's all meditation. There is an awesome meditation, because you know what? Sometimes we as people of color, we don't listen to but there's a great thing that I love. It's called Meditation for the Grown-Ass Woman. It's by, I think it's Tony Jackson. I'll find it before the end. And she said, she says, it's kind of up and beat and jazzy and affirmation. And so I listen to that every morning. And when I walk up, I'm like, okay, I'm healing in my heels. I'm healing in my heels. And it's just, so those are some things, and just confronting those things, finding your boundaries. We as Black women, we have to learn the curse word is no. You
Come
can't
on.
do everything.
The strongest 2-letter word you can say.
You can't be everything to everybody. So that is the biggest thing there. And just taking time out, eating right, exercising, That's the best way to de-stress. And I can talk to Dr. Monica because sometimes she goes on the other side where she thinks she just needs to beat up the world in the gym. And I'm stressing out too much.
People.
So,
better than people.
Okay.
And she's always smiling.
Good people.
That keeps her out of jail. Okay. That keeps her out of jail.
But Dr. Naeem, I know you wanted to say something. By all means,
it was Dr. Monica.
Oh, Dr. Monica, I'm sorry. I'm listening to you and looking at her, Dr. Monica.
No worries.
Sorry.
Just wanted to talk about kind of how we see stress in our office as well. And something that we talk about often with moms is not realizing how your kids feed off of your stress.
Mm-hmm.
And, kids energetically kind of stay attached to their mother's energy until they're like 8 or 9 or so. And so mom is stressed, kid is sick, kid is struggling. They're focusing all their energy on trying to heal that baby, not realizing that their kid is picking up on all of that stress, and all of that energy.
Yeah.
And even that I'm trying to fix them energy. And we also kind of talk to them about that, is you're sending a message constantly to them that they're broken and they're trying to be fixed. And then they internalize that as well. And it just becomes a feedback loop between mom and child in terms of stress. And then the same thing that happens to the body physiologically with stress in adults also happens in kids. It just manifests differently and it can look differently. So it may not be high blood pressure when they're 6, but it may be kirking out at school, or not sleeping, or, refusing to eat certain food. I mean, it could be a variety of different, it could be eczema flare-ups. And as you've got us running every test under the sun and removing every food they've ever eaten in life, but maybe they're stressed out and that stress looks different. And the whole family's stressed out because the whole family now has to change this and change that, and everybody feels away.
That's a good point.
And some of these things are legitimate. Don't get me wrong. Some of these things are bona fide legitimate things, but I think people really do underplay the role that stress has on the individual, on the family, and then especially on the child. And then that feedback loop between parent and child in general, but especially mother.
Yeah.
I just want to add.
That's powerful when you think about that.
I also want to add, just on our wellness side, I spend a lot of time with the new moms that are trying to look like this perfect Pinterest mom that doesn't exist. Right? Breathe, relax. Please throw out all of the apps that are dinging every 30 seconds telling you what you're supposed to be doing. And
my.
Yeah, they
have those.
Their apps, their websites, they're all of these things, and simple things like breastfeeding. It's not easy. No one tells you that. Like, it's natural, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's easy. And so some women have this extra pressure that they're failing at something because they're struggling with that. Baby don't know what they're doing. You don't know what they're doing.
Right.
There's an app for that. There's specialists that will help you
figure
that thing out.
All I had was what to expect when you're expecting the book.
There's so much
we have consultants that we use that will come to your house. They'll go through Zoom to help because it is not that easy. Or trying to do tummy time. The baby just got here 2 minutes ago. Stop. Enjoy the baby. Feed the baby. Let the baby sleep. You try to nod off when you can. Just trying to give them permission to relax and to be human.
Yeah.
To have needs and wants and desires and need support, and that's okay to feel some kind of way right now and to feel crazy, stressed out, tired, exhausted, scared, all of those things, because you've got this new person that you're responsible for, and just letting them know everything that you're feeling is normal. You're not alone, and stop trying to meet these standards that truthfully nobody's meeting. That's just their Facebook page. That's not what their house really looks like.
Right. That's great advice. And I'm glad that we kicked this off with stress. I want to bring this question up. I have 2 questions. Go ahead.
On behalf of Dr. Higginbotham, she's not here, but even in utero, I mean, the stress starts there. Okay. Yeah. And my grandmother used to always say, "You mocking that baby." Now I know what she meant.
Oh, wow.
However, you carrying that baby, when you crying a lot, all that, and the baby comes out and the baby's a crybaby. My grandma would say, because you cried the whole time you were carrying that baby. We don't understand even while we're carrying the
umbilical cord going to
stress.
I I was reading something recently that talked about, we mentioned earlier about, epigenetics and genetic transfer of trauma. And they've studied people that have been in the Holocaust and noticed genetic changes for people that were 7 or 8 generations out. Another thought, as women, when our grandmothers were pregnant with our mothers, our cellular tissues were there because you're born with all the eggs that you're going to have. So genetically, we were there. So whatever happened to grandmommy, will happen to our mom and to us. And that just made me go, wow, when I thought about that.
I have a new book called Excuse Me, Your Unhealed is Showing. It comes out the 16th. And I talk about that because it's all about healing, emotional healing. And I talk about that. People don't understand sometimes that trauma and that healing, it doesn't even have anything to do with you. It doesn't even start with you. So sometimes you have to go most of the time, you have to go all the way back. And I talk about the trauma that the grandparents had, that the mother had when, people have issues with their parents and you didn't raise me like this, and going back, address it. But then you also have to extend some type of grace because they're trying to unpack their trauma. And the further you go back, the less likely it was that they even went after any type of help.
Right.
Even
if they were even aware that it was actually happening because they had normalized. And isn't self-love, isn't the definition of self-love giving yourself grace?
Exactly.
Giving yourself the compassion and understanding that the people who raised you, were your caregivers, did the best that they can. You're doing the best that you possibly can. Hopefully you will continue to give yourself the love that you need so that we don't, as Dr. Sonza aptly pointed out, show up in the world always ready to be a superwoman for everybody else, but forget about ourselves.
100%. And it doesn't mean that you ignore your trauma and ignore what they've done to you or whatever that is, the case that is. It's just giving a better understanding. And when you talked about self-love, I think about the Bible verse, love is patient, love is kind. People always think that's outward. Right. Take that same scripture and apply it to yourself and love yourself that way. You see it at weddings, you see it at every love is patient, love is kind, it doesn't brag or blah, 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 blah. It goes through the whole thing. It never sees itself jealous or envious. I mean, we go through the whole scripture and people always look that way, when it really should start from here, because if you're already loving yourself in that way, in that capacity, then it's going to automatically come out to other people. But if it's not in here, that's why you see the ugliness is happening. But we're not going to talk about, we're going to get back to your specialty, not mine. We're going to go back to yours. I have 2 questions up and I want to ask anyone who wants to answer. This one is about pain. What's a good way to battle the pain myth? The myth that African-American people have a higher resistance to pain. Therefore, we're prescribed less effective medicine.
Find you somebody that looks like you.
Amen. Oh, Dr. Higgy is coming. Yeah. Oh, well, I just got so excited to see her. I didn't even introduce her. I'm so happy. This is Chandra Higginbotham. She is an OBGYN, an American Board of Integrative and Holistic Medicine, functional medicine provider, founder, owner of the Women's Health Solution. Welcome.
Hi.
Your sisters held you down.
Okay, cool, because I was busy working.
I know. And when you last one, you had a baby, you delivered a baby.
I delivered a baby today as well. Interesting.
Oh, wow. So whoever was answering that, I'm sorry. I saw Dr. Higgy got excited.
Dr. Higgy can answer it.
Oh, what's the question?
What's a good way to battle the pain myth? The myth that African Americans have a higher resistance to pain, therefore were prescribed less effective medicine.
What's a good way is to know who you are and to speak up. Use your mouth. Speak up. That's the best thing. And if that provider is not receptive to your needs, I think I heard someone say, find another one.
Yeah.
And first of all, it depends on what kind of pain you're dealing with. Pain is a huge concept and it's very individualized.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And someone else was speaking as I was looking down that said, find a doctor that looks like you. Who said that?
Dr. Sonza.
Was
Dr.
that?
Sonza.
And can you continue with that? Because we talked about that before, but this might be someone's first time watching the panel, and talk about the importance of finding someone who looks like you as a healthcare provider.
Well, I think Dr. Maia said it so eloquently last time that you, the stats for even children and being treated with somebody that looks like you, the outcome is higher. And so the myth has always been there, and from years about we as people of color can take more pain because they experimented on us in all the surgeries and all the things when it came to medicine. We were the mouse in the
Lab
studies.
rats.
We were the black rats. We were the studies.
Mm-hmm.
So from that, it's just lingered on to medicine. Medical Apartheid is a great book for any person of color, even as they were starting off as our history, chief complaint. This is an African-American woman, right? This is an African-American male.
Mm-hmm.
So they already know coming out the gate what they're dealing with. And they have those biases when they read that first sentence.
Yep. Thank you so much. I have another question, then I'm going to get to mine. Hi, this is from Allie. Let me see, try to decipher this. Doctors help me. Okay, so she wants to know, and correct me if I'm saying it wrong, granulosa cell tumor ovarian cancer. She wants to know how you can help with that. I'm not sure if she's talking about, and if you're still on, Allie, a natural way to cure it, some things that she can do other than surgery or medication. I'm not sure, but she wants you to see if you can help with that.
There's a lot of holistic things that she can do, but we would subtract the word cure from our answer. There's no one that can cure you. You can cure yourself, but no one else can cure you.
Yeah.
But there are a number of methods of nutrition, of approaches that could be taken for cancer. I would direct her to look in her area, or I don't know where she's located, but looking for someone with a holistic background that specializes in helping people with cancer.
Thank you. All right, so I want to ask you, what is your take on supplements, daily supplements? What is your take on that? I know you should eat the proper nutrition. That way you don't have to be reliant on supplements. But what do you all think about supplements? And what are some of the best supplements that folks should take daily?
Well, I'll just say if you live in America, yes, you should be taking something because the food here is bottom of the barrel. The soil is depleted. There's an immense lack of nutrients in the soil that it's supposed to go into your food. And then we're not even going to get on the topic of what they spray on the food while it's growing as well. So a lot of people, we do give supplements as part of our recommendations, and it seems like a lot. You know, if you look at my nightstand, I look like a little old lady, but it's all vitamins and supplements. You know, it's not medication.
Yeah.
You need to be guided appropriately to what's best for you and your body. And there's specific steps that we as functional practitioners do to find out what your real nutritional status is, hormones and things like that. And we can, as someone said earlier, pain is individualized, so is supplementation.
Yeah.
So with a good practitioner that can look at what's going on with you and your body and your environment and your home and what will work best for you and your genetics and things like that.
And don't buy your supplements on Amazon.
Please don't.
Girl, I was just
You said don't buy supplements on Amazon?
No, there are no checks and balances. I could literally have put arsenic in a bottle and sold it to you as a vitamin. They don't check anything. They didn't ask for my medical
hearing that
anything.
But not even that.
Not Target.
Yeah, but
wait,
but
you said not Amazon. Did you say not Target?
like not the big box stores. What you're not looking, for, to Dr. Maia's point, is you don't want a general across the board, it applies to everybody, because it doesn't. You have to have your own lab work to see what your body can actually metabolize, where you're actually depleted. And the more specific that you become, obviously, the more helpful the supplements are. But no, not at a big box store. Their interest is not in your health. Their interest is in profits.
And
So
most of the vitamins over the counter, they use the cheapest inactive forms available. So you're just buying expensive pee.
Well, may I interject? May I interject?
So
First
where
of all,
should you,
may I
my cousin Gina asked, where should you buy them then?
Well, can I interject this one concept?
Sure.
First of all, there's only one disease, and that disease is the cell's malfunction. You've got to understand that concept. So cellular malfunctionality is the foundation for all diseases. Okay, this is going to inform your the answer to your question. But there's only two reasons why the cells malfunction. Now, wait a minute, we have 37 trillion cells. Our bodies undergo 1,000 quadrillion biochemical reactions every second, all right? That requires a lot of nutrients. So there's only two reasons why the cells malfunction. One, because of nutrient deficiencies, all right? Wait a minute, 92% of Americans are metabolically unwell. We talked about that last time. Another reason why the cells malfunction is because of overwhelming toxicity. Okay, so we've got to optimize the nutrient sufficiency of these 37 trillion cells, and we've got to optimize our body's ability to detoxify. Now, that takes nutrients, that takes supplement, not a substitute. We've got to
come on, can you say that again?
So this is a supplement, not a substitute. You can't get our nutrition from Burger King, McDonald's, Jack in the Crack, Timmy Chan,
Jack in the Crack.
Jack in the Crack.
We can't get it from there. We have to get our nutrients from our food. However, on top of that, as Dr. Maia, we've got to supplement, because we live in America. We found out way back in 1930 that our soil was deficient of over 77 trace minerals and elements. If our soil has been deficient since the 30s, what's going on now? It has worsened. So now everyone is right. We cannot get our supplements from the big box stores. All right. They found out that the supplements that are there, they're not truly consistent with what should be in there. And again, they're contaminated. A lot of them are made in China in lead pots. Okay. So the best thing to do is to confer with a practitioner who's aware of all these layers of complexity, and to work with them to optimize your own nutrient sufficiencies and to optimize your body's ability to detoxify. Okay, that's all.
Wait. You said a lot. And it's so important. Like, you all in unison were like, no. And I don't think people knew. I didn't know that. Amazon, yet Target and different things who have vitamins G and C. So as my cousin just asked, where should we go to get our vitamins, number one? And number two, when we do our blood panels at our doctors, our family physicians, how do you know? They're all shaking their head. This is good. How do you know which vitamins you need? And should everybody at least start with a multivitamin, or that's wrong too?
First of all, they're not going to check everything that you need to get checked. They're gonna piecemeal it because it's based on what the insurance covers. You have to have a code to pay for it. So, we will pay for our Gucci purses. We will pay for our Louis Vuitton. We will pay for our nails. We will pay for our hair.
Come on.
Get real with people that looks like us. We have to pay for our health.
Come on.
Don't pay for your health. You're going to pay for it now, or you're going to pay for it later.
Come on.
And the other thing is what we absorb. Like she said, food. What is food? Food that we have today is not what food that grandmama was raised on. And so you have to supplement, because they're always putting something in the food. We're looking at the news, E. coli in the spinach. So for those people that are vegetarians, guess what? You're not safe, because it's still, they got E. coli here. And if you're in the meat, they got mad cow disease. They got all kind of crap in the meat. And so you really have to know where to shop to get your food, to get the nutrients for one. So one, we do like to have it at the end of a fork. But if the what's at the end of the fork is full of all kind of crap, you're putting that into your crap. So you're putting that into your body. So you're not optimizing anything, you're damaging.
Oh man. So it sounds so, and I don't like using this word, but lack of better word, the first word that came, it sounds so hopeless. Like you don't know you're eating. Okay.
Well, that's why we're having this panel.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
There are options.
Absolutely.
You find the practitioner that can actually give you the answers. Going to a traditional allopathic doctor is not going. It's not in your best interest, but what is in your best interest
is a naturopathic doctor.
Do the research, find a functional medicine practitioner, find a doctor who actually looks like you, who's interested in getting to the root cause and not just spending the average, 6 minutes now?
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that you can do that, to reiterate from our last show, but certainly there are so many solutions. There's many more solutions than there actually are obstacles and problems. What we have been fed and what we've been programmed to believe is that it is hopeless. And the more that we become disenfranchised with the belief that there is a solution, the more that we keep repeating the same patterns, but that's unnecessary. Just us 6 here having this conversation proves that there are so many of us, and there's so many options, and so many healthcare providers who are interested in finding true solutions that work for the individual.
So you said functional health medicine practitioners, holistic doctors, naturopathic doctors, they'll be able to tell what you need in your body, what type of vitamin you need.
And where to get it.
And where to get it. And what about the foods? Produce markets opposed to big names like Wegmans, Giant, Piggly Wiggly, wherever you are.
Farmers markets where you can talk to the farmer about how they grow their food and what do they put in, on, and around it is an option as well during certain times of the year.
So farmers markets, produce markets.
I lived in the Northeast. Wegmans is good.
That's
Wegmans
where I go.
Good.
That's where I go. Okay. Woo, I was like, I just had some spinach today. Y'all talked about spinach and food. I'm like, oh,
they have a lot of organics, and they have like grass fed, and they have, free range for the poultry. They have wild caught fish at Wegmans.
And I want you to expand on that. I want you to expand on that.
Labels. Yeah.
You got to become a label reader.
Yes.
You cannot pronounce the word. If it's a long multisyllabic
it's not for you.
Then if you're not willing to eat that long multisyllabic word, why are you going to put it into your body?
That's right.
Or even put it on your skin as well, because your skin is the largest organ of the body.
That's right.
We absorb a lot of toxins through our skin.
Right. And people don't understand. I want you to talk about what you just said, farm fed, wild caught. I want you to elaborate on that, because my mom taught me that when I was younger, and I'm looking at that. That's what I do. But a lot of people will just go get the fish with no nutrients. It's not wild. Can you talk a little bit about that? And then Dr. Maya, I know
I'm gonna
Dr. Serena was talking about that.
I'm going to interject that I have a garden. I'm in the community garden here where I live. That is the number one best source of your produce, is growing your own. And it's not hard. You can have a small plot and grow enough food for 4 people easily. In most of the zones that are in the United States, okay? They have different growing seasons. Some areas are shorter, but you can grow food. You can grow it on your back porch. You can grow it in your window sills, in pots. You can grow it anywhere, okay? And I'll let.
What are 3 things that people should start, even if they start small? What are 3 seeds, plants that they can do in their backyard? And I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'm trying to get it all in. What are 3 starting with?
Okay, so lettuce. Just about any kind of lettuce.
Okay.
Well, I like romaine because it grows year round here in Georgia.
You can do that in your house?
Yeah, you can do romaine. Yes, they have I have a hydroponic downstairs.
Okay.
I don't have anything in it right now, but you can grow hydroponic inside the house.
Okay.
You can grow all different lettuces in the hydroponics.
Okay, so lettuce, what's the next one?
I would say an herb would be helpful, like a parsley or a basil.
Okay.
Easy to grow inside. Mint, those are easy to grow inside.
Okay. And
one more, I probably would pick like either a squash or a cucumber. Like in the summer, they're highly productive, makes a lot of food, something like that.
Okay, I'm writing too.
Even mushrooms, you can have your own mushroom garden.
Mushroom garden, okay.
And I just want to say real quick about when you do go to the store, I advise people to shop the perimeter. Real food rots. So things that are outside, your fruits, your veggies, eggs, dairy, anything on the shelf that can survive a nuclear war, you probably shouldn't be eating.
Yeah.
So it's trash day in my community now, and I got to empty the trash because the stuff rotted.
Right.
So,
stick to the toilet paper and the paper towels in the middle. But as far as what you eat daily, in other countries, people go to the market every day, and it's probably a cow in the back there milking to make the cheese, because it's fresh. It's fresh. So, they don't do what we do, where you go once a week or every 2 weeks to a big box store. And so we should get in a better habit of getting fresh food as much as we can, and eating that as the mainstay.
And where should they get their vitamins?
From their doctor.
So the vitamins can come from your doctor, the functional medicine doctor, the naturopath, or the holistic doctor.
Because it'll be tailored to what they need.
Yeah, and they
Are you all hearing this? Like, I'm blown away. I want to go upstairs and throw my my vitamins in the garbage. If you're just tuning in, they said do not get your vitamins from Amazon, from Target, from Walmart, any big box store. You need to be seeing a functional doctor, spend the money on it, or a holistic doctor, a naturopathic doctor. They will provide the vitamins for you because you don't know what's in the vitamins. They're saying.
Now, I will say there are some brands, but still the providers will know. Like, for instance, Nordic Natural omega-3s, you can buy those at Sprouts. So
wait a minute. But what did you say? And we have a Sprouts. Okay. So you see, I'm stuttering. I'm like, this show. I'm like, okay. What did you say?
Like Nordic Naturals, you can, some of they're in some of the they're in Sprouts.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's
Whole Foods,
Vitamin Shop.
But you still, if you're unaware of what's in there, then you still want to consult with with a doctor. And I always tell my patients, if you can't read it, don't eat it. If you can't pronounce it, denounce it. Right. If you have to phonetically sound out the food, the ingredients on your food, then that is not food. And I know Dr. Higgy, she does, if you follow her, she goes live. She even goes to Costco's and she reads the label, and she goes to the farmer's market. She talks with the people. And even when you go to the farmer's market, you want to ask them, do they put pesticides on their food? Mm-hmm. Everything at the farmer's market isn't good as well. So you have to talk with the people that are growing and ask them, do you spray your food? If you don't spray your food, then you buy it. So you just have to educate. We educate about everything else. We really have to educate.
It's so important. And this is why I wanted to have this show for us, because people just eat anything. We hear Khalil Gibran said, I don't even know. I'm just so filled right now because maybe you do know, or maybe you don't. You don't know how many people you're helping who are watching live. I can't even get through the comments just yet, or who's watching the playback. This is so important. This is valuable, guys. I really want you to pay attention. And it said, if you do have to shop at a grocery store for vegetables, Wegmans, Sprouts, Whole Foods, Trader Joe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trader Joe. Okay. The places I shop. It's so important. And stay away from the canned vegetables, people. Right?
Yep.
All that processed food.
Well,
if you have to consume canned, make sure the lining is BPA free. Now, it's still a BP. It's BPS or BPF. And those are what we call regrettable substitutions. meaning they regret to say they have to substitute something because they can't let the liquid leach into the can and cause rust to go into your food. So there's layers of participation. The thing is, we've got to be aware. So yes, we do want to avoid BPs, all the BPs, because to the young lady who asked about granulosa cell carcinoma, well, that's an estrogen-based cancer. Estrogen. So there's all these, what they call xenoestrogens or xenobiotics. What are these? These are new to nature molecules that exist in our environment. Okay. The government has unleashed over 84,000 chemicals in our environment. So even the organic stuff is not 100% organic. There's cross-contamination. And the USDA organic, they have different levels of, they'll allow certain chemicals even in the USDA certified organic. So that's why, to Dr. Serena's point, yes, grow your own food if you can. But it's about layers of awareness, as well as we're all exposed. We're all exposed to all these chemicals. One of the biggest ones that we're exposed to is glyphosate. Glyphosate. It's everywhere. It's ubiquitous. And all of us have it in our urine. So the issue is to optimize our body's ability to detoxify. We do that with food. And we can't even begin to talk about stress and the mitigation of stress. We
had the first 20 minutes of the show, Dr. Higgy, was about stress. Because I have a question. What's a natural way to promote good blood flow? So that's a question. Then I have another question. I know we're pressed for time. It's so many. And that's from Ricardo. And then we have what causes high prolactin levels and what can you naturally do to decrease those. So promote good blood flow, and then
arugula. Eat arugula. Arugula is going to optimize your body's production of nitrous oxide. A man with he all know what that is. But arugula is one vegetable that you can consume ad nauseum until you get nauseated.
That promotes good blood flow?
It will optimize nitric oxide, and that's a natural vasodilator. That's a vasodilator. It dilates your blood vessels. So that's a natural. Beets will do the same thing.
So is having a glass of beet juice a day, what are the benefits to that?
The juice part, you can get more sugar. It's best to eat the beet or use the powder.
Okay.
It depends on what's going on with your blood sugar issues as far as the juice is concerned. So it's best to actually eat the beet or use it as a powder. They have powdered beets.
There's fermented beet powder that you can make a reconstituted juice out of.
So take the powder, add water, or sprinkle it in your food or something like that. The powder is better than the juice. But the powder in the beet itself is equal, you would say?
Getting more fiber. You're getting fiber from the actual beet that you're not, and you're getting other nutrients from the actual beet, the actual real beet, than that you're not getting from the powder. But the powder is more convenient.
Got it. I started eating. I don't do the beet juice, but I started eating beets. I never liked beets, but I don't care about what I like. I'm caring about what's healthy and what's right. So I started eating beets. The next question is, what causes high prolactin levels, and what can you do naturally to decrease levels?
That's a big one. It can be idiopathic.
Can you explain what that is for some that may not know?
Well, prolactin is a hormone made in the posterior pituitary gland, all right? And it's normally made in pregnancy. Why? To begin the pregnancy process, but also to produce milk. So there are some people who have idiopathic elevated prolactin levels, and you might find that one of the symptoms or one of the signs would be a pituitary adenoma. It could be a macro or micro adenoma. Your doctor will help you to work on that. But that's a whole nother conversation because it could be idiopathic. We don't know why, unless you're pregnant, of course.
All right, Dr. Higgy, what's adenoma now? Tell.
Okay. I'm sorry, it's a tumor.
Okay, thank you.
But what you said in the beginning is pertinent to this question, because a lot of people get into asking about their specific disease And what they don't realize in the holistic realm, in functional medicine and integrative medicine, what we're looking at is cellular dysfunction, like you were talking about before. There's either a nutrient deficiency or a toxicity causing inflammation, period. So that's what has to be figured out.
And some medications can elevate your prolactin level. Some psychiatric medications can elevate your prolactin level too. So
inflammation. Systemic inflammation can elevate your prolactin levels. I test my prolactin levels on all my clients. As long as they have skin, I test it. And many of my clients have elevated prolactin levels. Now, they're not to the point where it's where they need medication. It's informing me such that I can have a conversation with my client regarding their lifestyle.
I wanted to talk to, we're almost out of time, but Dr. Naima, I wanted to talk to you about chiropractic, just chiropractic in general. As I talked earlier, most people think it's about cracking necks and backs and it's just focusing on that. But can you tell everyone and explain the significance that having chiropractic care can affect you overall, or how it can help you overall, I should say?
So great question. One of the things that we have touched on and throughout this whole conversation is how the body is responding to stressors. And we live in an environment where stressors come in the form of thoughts, toxins, or traumas, right? And oftentimes what we think is we're going to go to a chiropractor because we have some sort of a physical symptom, some sort of a physical trauma that is preventing us from doing some of the things that we love, enjoy, life, those sorts of things. But the foundational base of chiropractic is that our belief is, of course, the body is designed to be healthy, and it is the subluxations, fancy word when it just simply means when two or more spinal bones are misaligned. And what that does is it creates a disconnect between how the brain communicates with the rest of the body. Our entire master control system, the brain and the spinal cord, communicate everything through the nerves. If two spinal bones are misaligned, then they compress nerves. If they compress nerves, then the nerves cannot communicate what the brain has issued the body to do. Just like if you had a computer and you programmed it with garbage in, garbage out, you're never going to get proper communication if there's a disconnect, right? If we're on the phone and we're talking, but the person on the other line is only hearing every other word, their response back to us is completely invalid. It doesn't make any sense. It is exactly that way when the brain is communicating to the body. But there's subluxations, there's misalignments throughout the spine. And so when we approach the body from a chiropractic perspective, what we're looking at is the entire nervous system, the entire spine, and how it's communicating throughout the body. So if a person comes in with specific symptoms, what I always say is we're never going to chase your symptoms, because what I'm not interested in is the end result. What I'm and is where's the root cause. You can say, oh, doc, it hurts right here, but maybe that's not where it's originating, right? We live in a vessel that everything is connected to every other thing.
Yeah.
So there are old traumas, old injuries, old stressors that have been placed on the body for repetitive things that you do, then we're going to take that into consideration. But most importantly, as it applies to this conversation that we have been having, is how much of the stress that's in your daily life are you then storing in your body? And how is that then going to affect how you show up each and every day? Because we can adjust all day, every day. And I promise you, they're going to walk out of our office and they're going to experience the same patterns an hour or two after their adjustment. If we're not actually having the conversations like, hey, let's talk about some of those stressors. Let's talk about some of the inflammatory reactions that are happening.
Yeah.
do a lot of referring because we only will talk to an extent as it applies to things that Dr. Sonza is amazing on, or because we see pediatrics that Dr. Maia and Dr. Monica would be the expert. But what we do want to focus on is looking at the entire body and not compartmentalizing it as if your shoulder doesn't have anything to do with your ankle, as if that your bowel movements are not affected because you've had low back pain for the past years and now you're suffering from IBS. There's a connection, and we want to help people just draw those connections and then understand that we are part of the healthcare team, right? Like, I believe in understanding that you need a team of healthcare practitioners that are around you, because not only one provider is going to provide all of your answers, right? And being able to make sure that you can touch and connect the dots with your healthcare providers, I think that ultimately we all win.
So, and thank you for saying that. And Dr. Monica, I want to ask you the commonalities you're seeing when it comes to children. Do you all have 10 minutes? If you don't, whoever can't, do you guys have 10 extra minutes? Okay. And Dr. Naima, that was eloquently said, and it was and it's important that people understand. And the way that you explain that, I hope that the audience truly understands that, because that is so important. There's so many people out there struggling with diabetes, high blood pressure, hypertension, all of these commonalities we have in the Black community. And someone asked about, well, how can you guys cure her? And you said you can cure yourself. And this is how we eat. This is what they're talking about, how we eat. What do we do? Grow our own vegetables. What type of vegetables are we eating? Where are we purchasing them from? They can do what you guys say. And then I want to definitely with Dr. Monica, when it comes to our children, that generation that's coming up to be the leaders, in our communities when it comes to health, hopefully learning at a young age. If they have Dr. Maia and Dr. Monica, I'm sure that they are learning at a younger age, where maybe some of us didn't learn at younger ages. My mom was very influential with that. And she was, I really believe, like ahead of her time. The stuff that everyone is talking about now, she was saying that. Like we couldn't have sugary cereals, processed foods. We had to eat vegetables every day. Like we had to do that growing up. It wasn't no quick fix. I remember when I was a teenager, everybody was talking about this Stouffer's macaroni and cheese. And I had to wait till I got a job to try it. And it was like everything, like, oh my God, I can try that, because we could not have those things. So what are you seeing the commonalities in, in TV? When my day, they were called TV dinners. They weren't microwavable. They were TV with the tin you put in the oven. That wasn't happening in my house. We had Wheaties. We had Cheerios. We didn't have Frosted Flakes, and we had Corn Flakes. We didn't have Fruit Loops. None of that. She was not playing those games when it comes to that. So I'm really thankful for that. But Dr. Monica?
What exactly is, make sure I'm answering the question.
Sure, I know, because I said a whole lot before. Look, after I asked you the question, the commonalities that you're seeing with children when they come into your pediatric center, what are you seeing that you can say, I think that this is a problem? Are there any?
With food?
When it's food, when it's health, whatever it is that you're seeing, like, wait a minute, I just saw someone yesterday and the day before, and they're experiencing the same thing.
I mean, just in general. So there's buckets. There are the kids who come in and their diets are just bad. I mean, they're just, we live in a very convenient oriented environment. And especially when it comes to kids, I think, are very overcommitted these days. They're at school all day. Then they're going to after school activities. Then they're going to practice. Then they have games. They're not coming home till 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. Then they have homework. And so parents are having to create convenient options to get them food. And those convenient options are oftentimes not healthy options, but the kids have to eat. We see commonality in, well, I can control what's happening at home, but when they're at school, they're eating what the school offers.
I see them.
They're not eating the
Takis all day. Takis all day. The kids in elementary school where I am, Takis all day. McDonald's for lunch. Somebody's bringing in Chick-fil-A for breakfast. So you're,
that's a commonality. And then even the families sometimes that are trying to make better options, or let's say they've already gone gluten-free, but they're eating a mound of, General Mills products all day that are gluten-free now, but they're all full of glyphosate. So then we kind of have to have that conversation. Just because gluten-free doesn't mean it's healthy. It's not full of other toxins. It's not full of other fillers and crap in it, honestly. And so sadly, even when families think that they're doing better, they're kind of just swapping one issue for another issue. But then you still circle back with, but they're gone from like 7:45 in the morning. So practically 8 o'clock at night. And I have to be able to send them with things so that they have something to eat. And figuring out what those options are. I mean, parents are kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. We've created a culture where these kids are completely overcommitted and not sleeping well enough and eating trash. So that is a trend that we see a lot.
And it's so, I mean, and what you said is just when I think about it, Dr. Monica, it's like people don't know what to do. They really don't, because they hear you should have more of this and do this. Then they go out and do this, change the whole cabinet, change the whole pantry and the refrigerator. Then they're like, well, don't do this. So then they rush to do this. I think people sometimes are at a standstill. They don't know what to do. And that's why it was so important for me to do this. When it comes to Dr. Sonza natural health, and then I want to ask anyone who wants to answer, going back to old school, drinking your water and exercise and how important that is. But when it comes to natural medicine, Dr. Sonza, what are some just small pointers that someone can do? Like if they came to you, what are some of the small pointers that they can do to improve their health?
Well, the first thing is just starting. We meet people, we all on this panel, we meet people where they are. Because if I don't expect people to eat the way I eat, so I want to sit down with them and find out that's why we do individualized. But the small things you can start is just drinking your water and watch your water. If you look at your bottled water, read your ingredients on your water. Then we have got so crazy that that's what we have to do. Some water has sodium chloride, which is, okay? So that can be in your water that's causing your blood pressure to go up and you thinking you're doing the right thing. So you just need to drink your water, half your body ounces. If you weigh 200 pounds, drink 100 ounces of water. And then if you have coffee, you have to drink a day.
I want to make sure I'm clear. Okay, with them.
And then if you drink a cup of coffee, 8 ounces of coffee, you have to now add more 16 ounces on that, because that caffeine is not only is it a stimulant, but it's also dehydrate. And so a lot of times patients come in, they're just dehydrated. And the other thing, we need to eat. Most people come into they want to cut the calories, they want to work out, and they're tired and fatigued. And when you look at the macros and all of that, they're not even eating enough, because we want to eat healthy. We read this is how you do. So just eating, starting with small changes, make big impact. Eating regular food. Stop eating out of a bag in a box. Eating regular food. Even if you don't have the money to eat organic, eat food that grows from somebody's ground is better than eating food out of a box, out of the freezer. Just eating regular food.
I love that.
And movement. You got to move.
Exercise. So 30 minutes a day, minimal?
I said movement, because a lot of times when you see exercise has a bad connotation. People think they got to go to the gym. They got to do all these things.
Right.
Sometimes I tell my patients, you want to watch that TV show? Fine. During the commercials, you got to get up and you got to move. We should have TVs that you have to power.
Yeah.
watch them.
That would be good. Like you got a pedal to watch.
So like Dr. Higgy, she's got, bands, resistant bands. As we get older, we start to lose our muscle. And we lose our muscle that protect our bones. And then a lot of times when you see people losing weight, they're losing muscle mass, but they're gaining fat. And so still we get so stuck in this, like it's body composition. It's how we're losing the weight, how we're putting on. Are we putting the proteins on? So just, movement is either 10,000 steps, whatever you like. If you like to dance, if you like to jog, it's no, you don't have to be like Dr. Monica and be Shira and go to the gym and lifting 300 pounds,
But you have to do strength training too, right? The older you get.
Yeah. Dr. Higgy, I talk to her in the mornings and she's rowing. What you doing, girl? I'm in Switzerland. She's rowing.
When I wake up, right from YouTube, I do a mile in the morning as soon as I wake up, and then at least try to do another mile before I go to bed, if not more in between. I'm not Dr. Naima. But I'm trying to do, like you said, do what you can do to just move the body.
Yeah. Dr. Naima is crazy. She rides 60 miles a day. Okay.
Wow.
I wish. I don't actually ride that much, but I think to that point. So I love cycling, love outdoor cycling, and it's cold here now, so I don't ride when it's cold. But I think to Dr. Sonza's point, in your movement, choose the thing that you actually enjoy, because if you don't, it's not sustainable.
Yep.
So whatever movement you're going to focus on, make sure it's something that you that you enjoy, so that you will make that a part of your routine. And here's the thing, like, life is overwhelming simply because we've got a lot on us every day, and those demands sort of make withdrawals. The thing that we forget is that movement causes the release of the feel-good hormones. And so when you stay sedentary, you go from a job that you sat at all day to home sitting, then what you're doing is you're robbing yourself of the opportunity for your body to produce hormones that are actually going to make you feel better. And when you feel better, you're going to do better. And when you do better, you're going to feel better. And it's this wonderful upward cycle as opposed to a downward spiral.
Man, one thing. Let me give you some incentive as to why you should move. There's a little animal in the sea called a sea squirt. A sea squirt, all right? It's an invertebrate. When he's born, he fly or swims to the coral reef and impales himself on the coral reef. And he's small. It looks like a little tubular, little coral reef, like when on the coral reef when you see it. But at that point, he's too small to eat. Okay, so what does he eat? He eats his own brain. Why does he eat his own brain? Because he's no longer mobile. So what's the analogy? When we're not moving, our brain shrinks. Our brain shrinks. So if you don't move, guess what? Here comes Alzheimer's. Who are you? Are you my mama? You begin to forget things. Yes, I know. I'm sorry. So I tell my
I was gonna go.
Don't be a sea squirt. Don't be a sea squirt. You want to move, and when you move your body, the only time your body produces BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, is when you move.
Yeah.
When you move.
Man, oh man. Oh, you talking about food for thought?
Yeah, I just want to comment because my background's in physical medicine and rehab, so I prescribe exercise like as part of my profession. And I tell people, even if you have had a stroke, if you've had a spinal cord injury, if you're in a wheelchair, there is still an exercise for you. So you just need to see someone who has expertise in that area. Chiropractor has expertise in that area as well.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do first, because I know my watch will be like, okay, you're sitting too long, you got to get up. I'm trying to decide what I'm about to plant, where I'm gonna put the garden. If I'm getting ready to go to Wegmans or Whole Foods, go to Dr. Sonza so I can figure out what vitamins I need. I'm like this. I'm ready. I'm like at the starting line, ready to go. You know what I mean? Because I want to live in. How can you live your best life and a quality of life? You know, people want to get older, but you want to still have that quality of life. I mean, you all dropped so many jewels and gems. I hope people take heed, because this is the thing. You know how some people start and they do that change and they go back like, I'm busy. Let me go get this Kraft macaroni and cheese. Let me go. I want you all to not look at it as a diet, but just a way of life, right?
Yeah.
It's so important, because I think when people hear diet and people hear these things, they feel like they have to live up to these things. And like you said, exercise, do what you love so you don't feel like it's a chore, you know? But if you want to be here and it's a chore, you better do the chore, whatever it is, right?
The first 3 letters in diet is what?
Die.
So lifestyle. And sitting is a new smoking. And I'm saying nothing else.
Woo! Sitting. Wait a minute. I'm shaking my legs. I'm trying to get my blood flowing. Where's my arugula? Can somebody give me the arugula? I'm like, let me tell you something, man. Oh man, this was phenomenal. You have people thinking differently, and that's the point. Tell the people how they can get in contact with you. Tell them your social media handles. And also, if we can leave out just a quick, what do you eat for breakfast or lunch? Just so they can get some type of idea. I'll start with you, Dr. Sonza.
You can reach me at www.3, that's spelled out THREED wellness.com. My Instagram handle is Dr. Sonza, Sonza Curtis. At Instagram, I'm the Gut Doctor on TikTok. I'm trying to work that one. And what I had for breakfast the other day, I'll just share it with that. I was making me a deconstructed egg salad burrito. And it was just a salad with my scrambled egg on top with some vegan cheese and some vegan cheese and some salsa. And that's what I eat for breakfast.
And stay away from that dairy, y'all, but go ahead.
Well, delish.
Dr. Naima?
Yes, ma'am. We are on Instagram at Elevate Family Chiropractic. And also our website is elevateroswell.com. And my favorite new thing is overnight oats. So I get the gluten-free oats and soak them overnight. I am completely addicted with some kind of a nut milk and some smashed bananas or apples or something. And it's delicious. It is literally the thing that I will eat throughout the day.
Overnight oats. So that's not steel cut. It's totally overnight oats. And you
So mine is just regular. It's just organic, gluten-free oats. And yeah, it's not, I don't think steel cut would work, but what do I know?
Okay. And then you put what you put in it, and then you wake up and you can just heat it up and eat it.
No, actually, so I went through menopause, so I appreciate cold foods now. So no, for the recipe, you just put them in jars, right? So you mix all the ingredients, and then you separate them into mason jars and put them in your refrigerator. So I do it at the beginning of the week. So I've got it for the week because it's super, super simple. There's only about 4 ingredients depending on what you put in it. Mine is just oats, cinnamon, some kind of a smashed fruit, or blueberries.
And you put it in the food processor or juicer, or you just
not at all, none
do
of
it
it,
just like that. All right, that's
just whatever the nut milk is with the oats. You stir it, put it in the refrigerator. You can heat it, I guess, in the morning, but I don't. I love it just the way it is. Like it. Super simple, super simple.
I like it. Dr. Monica?
I ask Maya all the time, like, what is our handle? I think it's just at the M Center.
M Center. Everything's just the M Center.
The M Center. Instagram, Facebook.
Sisterhood at its finest.
The website is the mwellnesscenter.com, THEM wellnesscenter.com. What did I eat for breakfast? It depends. I'm not gonna lie. If it's Monday through Friday, I don't like eating food in the morning. I'm busy. I have a tiny human. I have a cat now. Like,
what about lunch? What about lunch?
I do a meal replacement shake. It's actually called Kachava. You can get it online. It's a good meal replacement. And I actually add a scoop of collagen protein to it as well. And I just mix that with water.
What did you say the meal replacement is called?
Kachava, Kachava. And then I do the Ancient Nutrition collagen protein as well. So that Monday through Friday, that is my breakfast. I'll do real breakfast on the weekends because it's too much in my morning. It's just too many small people and things and furry things, and I can't.
I'm sure people will agree. So I'm sure someone listening, they're going to get the Kachava, and Kachava meal replacement and Ancient Nutrition collagen.
Don't get it off Amazon
or
they have it at Whole Foods. They have it at Sprouts. Yeah, don't get the Ancient Nutrition on Amazon. I can't vouch.
So the moral of this is do not get anything from Amazon unless it's a phone charger, appliance, some type of. Do not get any food if you're looking for nutrition factors. If you're looking for a vitamin meal replacement, stay off of Amazon. Buy your jump ropes on Amazon.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Dr. Maia.
So I'm a little bit more lazy in that I get a pre-made protein shake from Organic. So they're organic and they have vegan protein shakes. So I do that in the mornings during the week. But I also just got my own little egg bite maker because Starbucks, it gets expensive when you buy for 3 people every morning. So I've started gonna start making the egg bites at home. And then we just put in as we drop everybody off where they need to go.
Love that. And see, everybody, it's simple. Like to eat healthy and to take care of yourself. You don't have to do a whole lot. I love this.
And we grab fruit too. I forgot to mention that.
What did you say?
Grab fresh fruit as well on our way.
Yes. Dr. Serena?
I usually, one day I'll have a sprout salad that's either pea sprouts or sunflower sprouts with a few blueberries thrown on top, a little bit of like a vinaigrette. And then I'll have a couple of eggs. And I alternate that with a smoothie with like a scoop of collagen, like the marine collagen from Vital Nutrients or Vital, what is it? Vital
Nutrients.
I know what you're talking about. You can see the logo.
It's in a blue. Yeah.
So collagen is great for you.
Yes.
I heard that twice. Okay.
Get a multi-collagen. There are different types. So get one that has each of the types of collagen because some are better for like your bones and your joints and your ligaments versus hair versus skin. So get a multi-collagen blend.
Multi-collagen. I'm writing them down, okay, because I know someone's going to ask, and for myself. And how can people reach you, Dr. Serena?
Excuse me. Treat yourself to health. Treat yourself to health everywhere on Instagram, Facebook, and my website is Treat Yourself to Health. All spelled out.
That. I love that. Treat yourself to health. Dr. Higgy?
The definition of breakfast is break fast. So I typically don't break my fast until the evening. I've been doing time-restricted eating since 2018. As such, I've lost about 100 pounds over that period of time. So my body's used to it. So I don't eat the traditional breakfast. I drink throughout the day. My tea, like I have here, I have cordyceps and Chandra berry in this tea. And I also have veggie miso broth in this one that I sip on throughout the day.
What is veggie miso broth?
It's a broth made out of, and in this case, it's made out of 3 different mushrooms. Shiitake, I think it has lion's mane in it, which is going to help with your memory and your nerves. Shiitake is going to help with your longevity. So I believe in the importance of fasting because it optimizes something called autophagy, which is where your body begins to clean up house. We eat too much. We eat too much. But we need to eat, but it depends on your own genetics. I know my genetics, so that's good for my genetics.
Yeah, because Dr. Sonza said we don't eat enough, you eat too much. But I think that's what you're saying, though. this is why you have to go to a functional medicine doctor or a naturopathic doctor or a holistic doctor so you can find out, because you have Dr. Higgy, that's saying, I don't need to eat that much. This is what I need to do. And Dr. Sonza is like, most people don't eat enough. That's why it's so important. It's not a one size fits all. It's so important because everybody eats differently. And these ladies, you practice what you preach. You really do, because I didn't hear anybody say they went to Taco Bell to get a breakfast burrito. I didn't hear anyone say they went to McDonald's. And I think that that's so important, that you're really practicing what you preach, and people can understand that this is a way of life for you, and you're teaching others what you know, and you're not just saying this is what you need to do. You're living by example, and I love that. Ladies, I'm just so thankful and grateful that, and I don't take it lightly, because time is a valuable commodity. And I appreciate you all for taking this time to help educate me as well as this audience. We had so many questions, and you all know how to reach these doctors. They gave you all of their information. Set up a visit, a discovery call. Maybe you can fly to them. Maybe they can do a Zoom call just to really get your particular questions answered, because it's not a one size fits all. I don't know what's going on. I can't talk today. It's not a one size fits all. Ladies, thank you so very much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
This was time well spent with all the doctors. I appreciate all the advice and the words of wisdom from all. We need this information on an ongoing basis for our people. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was my cousin Gina. Hey Gina, thank you so much for watching. I see everybody. Thank you. If I didn't get to your question, thank you so much for taking the time. It tells me that you care about your health and you want to live. You can make small choice. Why can't I talk today? Small changes to your life. It's small. Like, they name small things that you can do to begin the process. Don't just say, well, I don't have the garden. Well, I didn't go to the store. No, you can start small and then make the bigger changes, but go see someone to see what you need to do and what changes you need to make, because you might be surprised. You might be on the right track. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all. Everybody, don't forget to subscribe. It's so important. If you want content like this to educate you on your body and more, the different panels that I have, definitely subscribe to my channel. This is positive programming. It's all about changing the narrative when it comes to the Black community. If you can watch all of that other stuff, because it's about what you pour into your body as well. It goes into your mind, your spirit, and your soul. So not just what you eat, but what you consume as far as what you're watching right here on YouTube. But thank you, everybody, for watching. Remember, you're a star. Don't allow anyone to dim your shine. Until next time, God bless. Peace, guys. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate and love the work that you're doing, getting the message out.
Thank you so much.